Hi everyone, we're back in Tom's kitchen, and tonight I'm going over to a friend's house. And Karen had told me that she no longer watches my videos because she can't cook. And I don't know if she feels disappointed that she can't cook or it's a waste of her time. But she invited me over anyway and just sort of said, "You know, I don't cook, I'm just serving cheese and crackers." So I said, "Well, I'll bring something." So Karen, and sadly that is her real name, uh, and many of our mutual friends will know who I'm talking about because she owns a lovely little French store in Oak Park called The Careful Peach. So she loves all things French, so I thought I'd make a little French appetizer for her. And this is something I got out of a Williams-Sonoma cookbook years ago. I was at another party, and my friend Donald had served these great little tarts and just fell in love with them. He told me he got the recipe out of Williams-Sonoma. So I've sort of adapted it, and in essence, they're just little teeny tiny quiches, but they're so much better than those little teeny tiny quiches you buy in the frozen food section. So we're going to take a look at how to make those. So the first thing we do is either thaw a package of spinach, perfectly okay. I happen to have some fresh spinach, so I just wilted that in a saucepan. But whether you're doing it this way or you're using the frozen spinach, there's always way too much water no matter what you do. So lots of techniques that you can put it all in a beautiful kitchen towel, squeeze all that water out, and then ruin that kitchen towel. Or I have this old-fashioned potato ricer. So I'm just going to put the spinach into the container, squeeze all the water out. Spinach in, and let's just adjust the camera a bit so you can see as I go to this bowl. How much water is coming out of there. So basically when you're making a quiche, you're adding in half and half cream, eggs, cheese, and then some filling of some sort. So we're not going to break that rule at all. We're going to go ahead and get to our food processor here. Take a look over here. And get our spinach into the food processor. That was about 6 ounces. Going to add to that 2 eggs. A cup and a third of whipping cream, heavy cream. In my case, didn't have either. I'm using half and half. It's going to be just fine. Then I have 6 ounces of cheese, and this is Emmenthal, which is basically Swiss cheese, but in Switzerland they call it Emmenthal. And then blue cheese. Now the blue cheese, technically, you're supposed to have really crumbly Roquefort, which you see that in a container, it's already crumbled for you, and you would roll that into your, what we'll use for the quiche dough, which is puff pastry. That gets really messy, so I've done that once or twice. I don't like it. I'm going to put it into the mixture so it all gets evenly distributed. But first, just going to mix the eggs, the cream a bit, and I made reference to, the funny things Julia Child would do. So as Julia would say, let her rip. Okay, so that's done. Reminds me of that old Moulinex commercial. I think it's mirrors. So that is done. Going to add in our 2 types of cheese. At this point, I don't know why, but in those savory ingredients they all love a little nutmeg. What is that? I don't know, 1/8 of a teaspoon or so. Yes, this is my spice list. And we're going to give this a nice little pulse. I think that's done. Now let's move on to the puff pastry. You can spend a lot of time making your own, or there are some good brands out there. This one happens to come from Trader Joe's. What we like about it is made with all butter. So there's another national brand out there that is made with vegetable oil, butter flavor. Used to use that, discovered this, and of course there's other brands as well. And I'm going to sprinkle my silicone mat. I'm going to roll out the pastry dough. Did a light flour of my fingers to help unroll this from the wax paper. You know, the funny thing, one of the things that I learned is this recipe is supposed to make 18 little tartlets. I actually doubled it, so I'm going to have 36. I'm not going to bring all 36 to Karen because they freeze quite well. So I have the dough. I'm going to grab a rolling pin. And what I used to do is roll this whole thing out. It gets misshapen. That happens. But what I found is I like to take a big knife, and I'm going to cut it into either 18 pieces right now, or it might just be easier to cut it into 16 pieces, or because it's longer than it is wide, I might make this only into 12 pieces. But I think what I'll do is aim for 15. So a nice 5 by 3. So actually, I think I'm going to go for 20 because I can easily get this cut into fourths. And then this I'll cut into 5 rows. Don't worry, they're not all going to be the same shape. Once these bake, they can all be very forgiving. So now I find it's just easier to take each one, little flour on the board, just roll it a little bit, because it really, you don't want to roll it too big, I mean. Take your mini muffin pans, just press it in. Get those edges tucked. It's okay if it's just a little bit above the edge. Then you have your delicious mixture here. Get a tablespoon. And fill it. It's going to puff up a little bit. So we're going to do this 18 times. Got a few little pine nuts. Sprinkle them on. Fill up your pan, and we're going to bake them. So let me go ahead, fill up these pans, and I'll be right back. Okay, so it took me about 10 minutes. I got 24 in this pan and 15 in this pan. So made up 39. A little leftovers. You can save those leftovers and mix it into tomorrow's omelet because nothing goes to waste. Let's just pop these in the oven. 425 degrees. And those are going to bake for about 18 to 22 minutes. So see you back then. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. I mistakenly said 18 to 22. That was for another recipe. So this one is 15 to 16 minutes. So let's take them out. And look at that. All nice brown. I always love this little cheese part where it gets a little crusty. But you're going to want to let these cool for about 10 minutes. Then you could either like grab the edge of one of the tarts to pick it out, or just slide a little knife, because you've sprayed this with vegetable spray. And then these can be served warm, room temperature. You don't want to serve them cold. If you do refrigerate them or freeze them, warm them back up in the oven. Don't warm them in the microwave. I've been trying to get away from using my microwave. So even things like pizza, much better, if you don't want to turn your oven on, much better heated up in your nonstick skillet. And if you really like that cheese crispy like I do, you can flip the pizza over and get that nice little frico crust. Anyway, that's it for today, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks. Bye.